You've seen it before, even if you never had words for it. One budgie reaches a new toy first. One budgie steps onto the unfamiliar perch before anyone else dares to. And somehow, within seconds, the others stop what they're doing. They watch. They follow. They gather around that one bird like it's the only thing in the room worth paying attention to. Meanwhile, the rest of the flock waits its turn. If you've owned more than one budgie, you already know this feeling. There's always one bird that seems to pull the whole group toward it, not because it tries to, but because it simply is. And if you've ever watched football, you've seen this exact pattern on a much bigger stage. The ball doesn't go to Messi or Ronaldo because they shout the loudest. It goes to them because the whole game seems to organize itself around their presence. So here's the real question. Is your budgie doing something similar? Is there really a star hiding in your flock? And if so, what actually makes a bird like that? The easy answer is the wrong one. And that's where this gets interesting. When owners try to explain why one bird seems to lead, they usually reach for the same explanation. That bird must be the boss, the dominant one, the biggest, the loudest, the one the others are a little afraid of. It's a tempting idea because it borrows from something we already understand: pack hierarchies, alpha animals, the captain who commands the room through sheer force. We assume budgies must work the same way, but that assumption doesn't hold up. Avian researchers studying flocking birds have found something that quietly overturns this entire idea. Aggression does not predict who other birds choose to follow. In studies on geese, the individuals other geese followed during flight weren't the most aggressive, they were the boldest, calmest explorers. Aggressiveness, specifically, failed to predict leadership at all. The geese that led weren't picking fights. They were simply confident enough to move first, and the others trusted that confidence enough to follow. The same pattern shows up in homing pigeons, where the birds that consistently rank highest in flock leadership aren't the pushiest individuals, they're the most exploratory ones. And in wild flocking birds like great tits, researchers noticed something even more telling. The bold individuals weren't sitting in the center of the group at all. They were out at the edges, scouting, moving the flock toward new ground, while the more cautious birds stayed clustered safely in the middle. That detail matters more than it first seems to. We tend to picture a starbird as the one everyone surrounds a kind of throne in the middle of the cage. But that's not what boldness actually looks like in a flock. It looks like movement. It looks like a bird willing to go first into the unknown, with everyone else's attention following the path it cuts. Sound familiar? It should. The best players on a football pitch rarely stand still waiting for the game to come to them. They create space. They move toward the ball before anyone else commits. Their teammates don't follow them because they're told to. They follow because that movement keeps proving itself trustworthy. In budgies, it turns out, that same kind of trust is what magnetism actually is. So if it isn't aggression and it isn't size, what is it? Behavioral research on budgies specifically has found that individual birds carry consistent personality traits. Some are reliably bold, more active, quicker to explore and feed without hesitation. Others are reliably more cautious, holding back, watching from a safer distance. This isn't random day-to-day mood. It's a real, measurable pattern in how a bird engages with its world. And that boldness is exactly what other birds respond to. When a confident budgie investigates something new, a toy, an unfamiliar perch, a different corner of the cage, it isn't issuing a command. It's simply demonstrating, through its own calm willingness, that the moment is safe. The flock doesn't need force to organize around that. It follows because trust was just quietly earned, one small act of courage at a time. This is worth sitting with because it reframes something owners often worry about. If your bold budgie seems to take over every new situation, that isn't your bird being bossy. It's your bird being the one the others have learned to rely on first, the same way a team relies on its sharpest player to find the opening before anyone else sees it. But here's the nuance the research insists on, and it's an important one. This boldness isn't universal. A budgie that fearlessly explores a new toy might still hesitate at feeding time. Confidence in one context doesn't guarantee confidence in another. Your bird isn't simply the bold one or the shy one forever, it's bold in its own particular way, in its own particular moments. Even the greatest players have a position. Not every star plays every role on the pitch. Some create chances from the wing. Some control the midfield. Some finish. A budgie's brand of confidence might show up only at the food dish, or only with new toys, or only when exploring beyond the cage, and that's not a smaller kind of magnetism. It's simply a specific one. So can one budgie become the Messi or Ronaldo of the flock? In a sense, yes, but not in the way the title might first suggest. There's no single bird crowned the boss, ruling through size or noise. There's no flock-wide hierarchy with one bird at the top issuing orders the others must obey. Parrots, by nature, don't organize that way. What there is, instead, is something quieter and more honest. A bird whose calm confidence repeatedly earns the trust of the others around it. A bird that moves first, not because it demands to, but because something in its nature makes that the most natural thing to do, and the rest of the flock, again and again, chooses to follow. That's not dominance, that's presence. It's the same quality that separates a true football great from a merely loud one. Not the player commanding the most attention by force, but the one whose simple movement reorganizes the whole game around them, because everyone else has learned, through repetition, that following them tends to lead somewhere worth going. If you have a bold, outgoing budgie that seems to pull your whole flock's attention without ever needing to fight for it, you're not imagining something. You're watching a small, real form of earned trust play out in front of you. And if your budgie is the quieter one, watching from a safe distance, letting another bird go first, that isn't a lesser role. It's simply a different one. Not every bird on the pitch is the one who takes the shot. Some are the ones who know exactly when it's safe to move forward, because someone they trust already did.